Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My thanks to Dr. Farah, lecturer for the Management Principle and Practice course, for giving us the opportunity this afternoon to share on the topic of management trends and issue, especially during COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, the organization we choose was Employee Provident Fund, or EPF for a short. Next to all my fellow friends to willing to take the time for this presentation sessions. Okay, next. I am Shashila Saad, together with my friends, Ms. Nur Atika binti Syuib, Ms. Siti Nur Atika binti Shah Ibrahim, and last but not least, Ms. Siti Haja Asesofa binti Muhammad Noor. We are from Group A. Okay, next. Among our agenda this morning, in the first introductions of the EPF, I believe that you must be knowledgeable about this organization, right? Okay, then the next agenda is management trends and issue, followed by conclusions, and at the end of this presentation, there will be a question and answer sessions. Okay, next. I will go to EPF history and profile. Let me share with you an introduction about the Employees Provident Fund, or EPF for a short. The EPF was established on 1st October 1951 under the EPF Ordinance 1951. Is already around 70 years. Subsequent amendments to the EPF Act 1991. It is a national social security institution operating through the fund scheme in Malaysia, Trustee Fund, a statutory body under the Ministry of Finance, Malaysia. Okay, next, we go to facts at a glance. Okay, if you look at the screen, there are about 14 million EPF members and a total of 7 million active contributors, with about 534,000 employers who have registered with EPF as of December 2021. These EPF members consist of private employees, non-pensionable employees in the public sector, and people who choose to contribute. Okay, simply sharing, the 2021 mandatory contribution by employees and employers on a monthly basis is 9% of employee salary plus 12% or 13% employer share. Okay, I also share the dividend rate for 2020, where the dividend rate for conventional saving is 5.20% and dividend rate for simpanan syariah was 4.90%. Okay, so next we go to vision and missions. Okay, let's share the EPF vision and missions. The EPF vision is to help members achieve a better future, and the EPF mission is to protect member savings and provide the best services, where the EPF aspiration is to ensure that members have a secure financial positions, good health, and a happy and meaningful life. Okay, we go to next slide. This is organization structure. EPF now employs around 5,700 workers who serve as the organization's backbone. Okay, we go to next slide. Core business. Okay, the core of the EPF business basically consists of three things, namely collecting contributions from employers and employees, investing it in the market to make a profit, and then distributing it to EPF members through withdrawal facilities. The EPF is mandated under the Employees Provident Fund Act 1991 to safeguard and grow our members' retirement savings. However, in light of the COVID-19 outbreak, the EPF was compelled to move swiftly and develop bold and unprecedented initiatives to assist our members and employers in facing the headwinds of 2020. Here, we provide an overview of the measures implemented by the EPF, including innovative products and facilities that provide relief for those who face financial hardship during the year. I hand over the next presentation to my friend Ms. Nur Atika binti Syuib.
Thank you, Sheila. Assalamualaikum and greetings to Dr. Farah and fellow classmates. Thank you for being here today. I'm Nur Atika binti Syuib, and I'm here today to talk to you about management trends and issues, and we'll focus on EPF challenges in the current era. As you can see, in this slide, there are many challenges EPF have to go through, such as on how to maintain public trust and relevance, coverages for employees and self-employed people. Some most citizens are very lack of financial knowledge and readiness for retirement, and employees' median monthly salaries and wages drop. Next. Okay, so now we will look thoroughly the challenges on a threat to lives and livelihood. The COVID-19 pandemic, which began as a health crisis, created an unprecedented global economic crisis in 2020. International trade, travel, and many other cross-border commercial activities were severely disrupted, while economics contracted on the back of lockdown orders and standard operating procedure SOPs that constrained domestic spending and production. Malaysia was not spared from the pandemic and its devastating impact on our economy and livelihoods. Businesses, especially small and medium enterprises, SMEs, struggle to keep their financials wheel turning. SMEs account for more than 90% of companies in Malaysia, and repercussions of the financial difficulties faced by this sector were severe and far-reaching. A series of surveys by SME Corporation Malaysia conducted between March and May 2020 found that nearly 60% of the SMEs in the country did not generate sales. During the first movement control order, MCO, implemented in March 2020, severe cash flow constraint necessitated the need to cut jobs and OP, and this was reflected in Malaysia's unemployment and underemployment rates. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, the unemployment rate increased 1.2% to 4.5% in 2020. This is the highest rate recorded since 1993. Correspondingly, the number of pure households increased to 639,800 from 405 and 4,000 in 2019. Meanwhile, the slowdown in economic activity was reflected in the country's gross domestic product, GDP, which sharply declined by negative 5.6% in 2020 from a gain of 4.3% in 2019. Next. Challenges faced by EPF members and employees. Okay. So the EPF represent almost 50% of the Malaysian population with a total of 14.89 million members. KWSP were immediately aware of the increasing financial difficulties faced by the members and employees at the onset of the pandemic and moved quickly to assist them throughout the year. Besides launching a range of unprecedented products and facilities in 2020, the EPF also conducted surveys to determine if the initiatives were able to address the needs of the members and employees. The EPF's impact of COVID-19 survey in July 2020 found that the effects of the pandemic on EPF members were highly uneven. This trend was seen around the world as the pandemic highlighted vulnerabilities of population groups, such as workers in the informal sector that are often less visible, those working in the local informal sector, such as the self-employed, casual workers, and daily wage workers were found to have suffered the most during the year. The EPF's impact of COVID-19 survey found out that employment within the informal sector was much more volatile compared to the formal sector. 1 in 2, approximate 50% respondents from the informal sector reported reduced working hours or were asked to take unpaid leave. Additionally, about 20% have been retrenched or unable to work. Meanwhile, in the formal sector, 2 in 5, approximate 40%, survey respondents reported reduced working hours or were asked to take unpaid leave. Only 2% were retrenched or unable to work. In terms of job security, 50% of the survey respondents in the formal sector held the same job as before the pandemic, compared to 96% of respondents in the formal sector. To the EPF, this highlights the increasingly important issues of job security in the informal sector, where workers are rarely given written contracts, health benefits, or social security. Insufficient or not, the lack of emergency savings further compounded the many challenges facing their members in the informal sector. The impact of COVID-19 survey revealed that 16% of informal sector respondents were earning below the individual median wage of 2,500 and had lost their job during the pandemic. Without a source of income, this vulnerable group is likely to be pushed into absolute poverty as they face challenges in paying for basic necessities, such as food and shelter. In totally, the EPF's impact of COVID-19 survey found out that a majority of their members suffered financial hardship, directly or indirectly because of the pandemic, and the top three concerns were income security, health, and job security. Survey respondents also indicated that alternative financial resources were limited, with only 18% having enough saving to sustain their expenses for more than 6 months. In the event of prolonged pandemic, individuals and households with limited savings may also fall into poverty. So on the next slide, I pass to Siti Nur Atika. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Dr. Farah and my fellow classmates. So I'll be talking about ethical issue that EPF faced during the pandemic phase. Okay, first, trust. Employers who are new to the virtual work environment may be concerned about the efficiency of their remote staff. When you are isolated and unable to participate and communicate in the same way as your coworker or teammates, it's difficult to create trust between employer and employee. This is issue we have here are the function in response during this work from home transition, engagement. When people work from home, it's difficult to maintain engagement because the real office can bring people together, contribute to their attention, or build fellowship. Burnout and mental health employees working from home during the pandemic made it far more difficult to switch gears and recognize when we are actually being on the point of burnout. During the COVID-19 pandemic, lines between personal and work-life balance will blur even for professionals that are used to working from home. As an increasing number of schools closed, many children will be home and working parents might be struggle to separate responsibility. A feeling of solitude and a lack of social engagement. Based on HR Service Scotland 2021, remote work may worsen feeling of loneliness and have a negative impact on your mental health due to lack of interaction with people. When people are locked into their room with only a machine and no human interaction, the situation becomes tiring. You have no anyone to talk in person and it may cause loneliness, especially during your tough and hectic day. Next. Next. Okay, effort taken by leaders to deal with challenges. Next. The EPF board initiative to address financial hardship. The EPF was one of the first pension funds in the world to assist our members and employers during the pandemic by implementing initiatives which complemented the government economic package in 2020. EPF aim was to provide financial relief to our members and employers that face financial hardship following the first MCO when most economic sectors were closed. The Malaysian government rolled out a series of stimulus aid packages to reduce the economic fallout of 2020. These include the first financial support package, the Provident Economic Stimulus Package, announced on 27 March 2020. These were followed by more economic packages throughout the year, including the Provident Package for small and medium enterprise on 6 April 2020. The National Economic Recovery Plan, which is called Pendana, on 5 June 2020, and the Provident Supplementary Initiative Package, which is called Kita Provident on 23rd September 2020. Many other initiatives were implemented by the government to assist the rakyat, including a moratorium on all bank loans and bantuan sara hidup cash payment, while business received grants and subsidy as well as aid, such as a special relief facility offered to SME for working capital and a microcredit scheme for companies in affected sector. Our aim was to provide financial relief to our members and employees that face financial hardship following the first MCO when most economic sectors were closed. Next. Okay. As you can see, the table below show initiatives that have been offered by EPF during pandemic phase. First, we have a reduction of employee contribution rate from 11% to 7%, effective period from 1 April 2020 to 31st December 2020. The purpose of allowing the reduction of employee contribution rate are to allow an increase in take-home pay for members, and this got approval for 3.3 million members for the total value of RM 3.4 billion. A part of the government first economic stimulus package, the EPF declared a reduction in the employers to reduce contribution rate starting from February 20. Second, we have IELTS Study Online, which is IELTS Study Withdrawal Facility, effective period from 1 April 2020 to 31st March 2021. This is to alleviate the financial burden of members by allowing monthly withdrawal of between RM 15 to 500 from account 2. Third, we have Employer COVID-19 Assistance Program called ECAP, starting from 1 April 2020 to 30 June 2020, to allow eligible SME to apply and restructure the employer portion of EPF contribution for April, May, and June 2020. This got approval of 30,019 applications and total value of RM 84.95 billion ringgit. These are to assist them during the uncertain time. IELTS study members were allowed to withdraw, and the SME corporation can help their industry still to maintain the business. Next. And then we have initiative for members, which is contribution rate for 2020 and 2021. As part of the government first economic stimulus package, the EPF declared a reduction in the employee share of the stationary contribution rate from 11 to 7% in February 2020. Next. Okay, this is initiative for employers. We got 3 initiatives that been applied by EPF, which is Employer Advisory Services called EAS, Employer COVID-19 Assistance Program called ECAP, and third, changing employer contribution payment date. First, we go to Employer Advisory Services. EPF introduced EAS to provide customized advisory services for employers towards helping them fulfill their obligation to contribute the EPF during COVID-19 economic slowdown. On 15 April 2020, the EPF introduced EAS to provide customized advisory services for employers towards helping them fulfill their obligation to contribute to the EPF during COVID-19 economic slowdown. EPF officer will assist the financial condition of affected company and advise them on customer EPF contribution schedule. By providing advisory services and customized contribution schedule, the EPF looks to better position this SME in facing the economic slowdown, and in doing so, minimize the need to retrench workers. Employer COVID-19 Assistance Program, ECAP. In April 2020, the EPF launched the ECAP to complement the EAS. This allows eligible SME to apply for the restructuring of the employer share of the EPF contribution for the months of April, May, and June 2020. And the last one is, this is applied for the flexibility this flexibility helps employer to honor their obligation to pay both the employer and employee portion of the EPF contribution due to further extension of MCO. The extended the delay plan to 31st December 2020. That's all from me. I would like to welcome the next presenter to continue the topic. Ms. Siti Hajar.
Assalamualaikum to our lecturer, Dr. Farah, Adila, and all beloved friends. I am Siti Hajar. I will present the topic EPF Corporate Social Responsibility and Impact towards Society. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, former Prime Minister of Malaysia, encouraged government-linked cooperation (GLC) to be more aggressive in supporting those impacted by COVID-19 outbreak. He also suggests that GLC should serve as role model for other firms and industry, encourage them to adopt cooperation social responsibility in a video conference with sake of country measure GLC address economic challenge. Corporate social responsibility CSR refer to the method that firms use as part of their corporate governance to ensure that their activity are ethical and beneficial to society. Program CSR hasil prihatin Lembaga Hasil Dalam Negeri LHDN Intribute Food Basket to the Needy. The program is a the program is series of food donation and basic necessity launched by the Ministry of Finance. LHDN is determined to continue its effort to assist those affected by the COVID-19 outbreak, this time in collaboration with Epf. A total of 80 food baskets with handover for distribute. The CSR Hasil Prihatin program will be expanded nationwide to assist those affected by COVID-19 pandemic. The collocation of government-linked company GLC is leading an initiative to help low-income students in transition to the new norms of online instruction. Yayasan Hasanah of Khazanah Nasional Berhad cerdik provide students with digital access, including laptop, tablet, and data connectivity. This program donates 150 million to promote innovative scramble learning method to promote fairness and level the playing field in order to ensure that all students have access to high quality education. This is also part of the long-term aim to provide students with digital access to education through device access and data connectivity. Cerdik collaborate with Education Ministry to ensure the qualified recipient get improvement. Last issue, Epf and Grab signed MOU to encourage Grab community of driver and delivery partners to save for retirement through the Epf ISARAN program to those under the age of 55 and self-contribute program for those 55 and older. ISARAN is a volunteer contribution project designed to help freelance and self-employed individuals save for retirement through the Epf contribution. Member of ISARAN will be eligible for government incentive of up to 50% of yearly payment, up to maximum of 250 per year. Individual can contribute to Epf at any time, up to maximum of 60,000 per year using the self-contribute program. Next is meeting expectation to Untitled Water. For decades, the Epf had delivery on its mission, safeguard member saving through helping them achieve the better future. However, in light of the COVID pandemic, the Epf accompanied to move quickly introduce unprecedented initiatives such as iLestari. These facilities gave our member early assessment to their retirement saving to meet their immediately subsistence need. To assist our employer, the Epf made concession such as e-cap to ensure business continue, especially for SME that were badly affected during the local period. 2020 was enchanted water to all of us, and difficult and eventual arose. For example, the Epf online platform were inundated with huge amount of traffic as a member and employer reached out to us during the first MCO. To meet their need, we need to immediately adapt to the unique and circumstance of 2020. The EPF rose the EPF rose to the occasion to remain productive in the new normal and serve our member and employer with excellence. We adapt swiftly to work from home and securely increase our digital capacity and capability. Furthermore, to ensure the safety of our customer and employee at our branch, we developed Janji Temu Online to stagger appointment and limit the number of people visit EPF branch. Thank you. Last, I pass back slide to Ms. Shashila.
Okay, so I will go to conclusions, the overall of our presentation for today. The EPF COVID-19 has in fact lived in unimaginable ways, which are the part of EPF members and employers in mind. EPF provide solutions for individuals and businesses facing financial hardship. This initiative, however, were for the short term as they serve as stopgap measures to cushion the impact of COVID-19. The EPF will remain true to the key purpose as a provident fund. The top priority will always be to be safeguard and grow members' retirement savings for their future social protection. Although it remains unclear when the COVID-19 pandemic will end, EPF are confident that passion, perseverance, and faith will guide us through the challenging period. Okay, so next we will go to Q&A sessions. I think this is all from our teams today. Okay, thank you so much, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.